Shabro, Father James with Deacon Hank.
Hey.
One of the things I have the privilege of doing once a year is being a judge for the science fair in our school. Our seventh graders put together their science fair projects. Did you ever do that when you were in school?
I did, yeah.
Do you remember your project?
I do. It was the bean plants trying to grow
jelly
them
beans
versus simple bean plants trying to grow them with Miracle Grow. Actually made it pretty far in the science fair.
You did?
Yeah, even though
like
all the
state
plants
finals?
died. Not state finals, but I went downtown.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Yeah, I don't know how that worked.
You still have that medal? I mean, they don't just give those away.
I don't think I made it to the medal qualified.
Yeah, I did not get very far. Mine was how a curveball curves in baseball.
Ooh, interesting.
And I don't remember any of it. But judging some of the projects and then going over, this was back in, I think January it was. I just remember every year there's a couple that really strike me as somewhat philosophical and hitting on something deeper. I'm sure the kids don't intend it that way, but good for them. It actually makes me think beyond just the realm of science.
Future philosophers.
Exactly. And there was a bunch of them, and of course some of them are really funny and useful. Like one kid, or Kevin and Gavin's project was, does the golf tee height affect the distance of the golf ball? So that was a very helpful one. Another Rachel did one on do dogs prefer old or new toys? I thought there was something we could talk about on that, but I want to get to something more. So she had a puggle,
Right.
mix between a pug and a bugle. And she thought the puggle was going to go for the old toy, the chewed up frisbee or whatever, because they preferred that, but it actually went for the new toy. Didn't see that coming. That was not
bigger
her
dog
hypothesis. I don't know.
Maybe like a mastiff or something.
Maybe next time you can ask Rachel to do one there. But they have to do it's really good. And Miss Nissen, our science teacher in school, does a great job working with the kids. They have to come up with their error analysis, constants, variables, the hazards, hypothesis, the results, further implications. The hazards always crack me up because it's like, so for the hazard for the dog one, it was like, well, the dog could attack you.
Ooh, that's
you could
true.
like trip on the ball and die. It's like
road puggle.
Yeah, really. So some other good ones. And while we're doing this, let's play some background music.
Ooh,
classic song.
What you got for us?
Let's see. Do refrigerated or non-refrigerated cookie dough produce the denser cookie? That was Kate, and that took away the bronze medal. Julia was a semifinalist, silver medal. She did does soda affect the eggshell, and that was supposed to apply to enamel on your teeth.
Oh, very
Drinking, does that erode your teeth?
Yeah.
Do red roses stay alive longer with soda or water? Does food fed to a chicken affect egg production? Which gum blows the biggest bubble? Is the hydro flask or the thermo flask keep liquid cooler longer? I don't even know what either of those ones are, but it was an interesting one. What type of vinegar dissolves the egg the fastest? That was Claire and Parker. They took the semi-gold. Do you know this song, by the way?
Oh, yeah.
From Animal House? Have you seen it? Yeah, it's
That's
great
exactly
scene.
where I know it from.
I know. But the one that was our finalist, gold medal, it actually was chosen to go for the state fair.
Wow.
Unfortunately, the state fair was canceled because of the coronavirus, but this was Declan's about distracted driving.
Nice.
And he did 3 tests. It was funny. He went to Izzy's Arcade, like one of those driving simulator games.
Oh, okay. Yeah, nice.
And so I think he had his grandma driving on the arcade game, which was kind of funny.
That's awesome.
And he gave her 3 things to do and see what distracted her the most. Texting, phone conversation with like a headset, and then just regular conversation with the person next to her, and which one distracted her the most. So his hypothesis was, what do you think?
That texting was going to be
yes,
worse.
and that indeed was the most dangerous. His grandma got in the most accidents in the car game while texting. But there was a bunch of he gave a bunch of interesting statistics. 1.6 million crashes a year are caused by phones. There's three things happening, three types of distractions:
Okay.
manual distraction, visual distraction, and cognitive distraction. So manual distractions is when you take your hands off the wheel.
Okay.
Visual distraction is when your eyes go off the road. And cognitive distraction is when your mind wanders from the task of driving. So all those three distractions occur regularly whenever we're driving, but with texting, all three of them are in place, right?
Because you're grabbing for your phone, you're using your thumb.
You're watching the phone, eyes are off the road, and cognitive. Your mind is wandering from the task of
Thinking
of
about
driving.
the conversation, how to respond.
And he explained how driving in and of itself involves multitasking. You have to focus on the road, the rules of the road, direction where you're going. Then when you add phone, that just adds another dimension. So then he went into all this interesting brain analysis. So the different parts of our brain help us respond to different tasks. So the frontal lobe, he says, warns us of danger and triggers reflex. The parietal lobe determines how much force we need to do a task. So like how much do you need to brake or turn. The occipital lobe is direction and memory. So where do you need to go? What are the rules? The temporal lobe is acknowledging alerts and responding. So honking, sirens, signs. And so when you introduce a dopamine into the brain, that affects the different lobes, and it requires us to shut one of the lobes down that would normally be used in the task of driving. Okay, are you with me?
I am.
Yeah. How interesting is
really
this, folks? This is a
interesting.
7th grader, right? So, a phone introduces a dopamine into your brain, which a dopamine says take action, seek and reward. So you get a text, dopamine fires through your brain. That's why you immediately want to reach for your phone and answer that text. And that messes then with your brain that's already working and focusing on driving. So a lot of stuff that we could potentially talk about when it comes to the spiritual life: staying focused, resisting the urge to drop what you're doing, whether it's if you're in the middle of a prayer or a rosary or watching the virtual mass and you get a text, or just in general, a habit that you should be doing: talking with your spouse, paying attention to your children, exercising, spending quiet time, whether it's in prayer or just reflection. And an urge comes in to say, oh, I need to check my phone, or I need to turn on YouTube, or send out that tweet. To resist that and stay focused on the task at hand. Any initial thoughts?
I feel like I need to work on that myself, especially with online classes and trying to write papers and get that together. Yeah, it's so tempting to want to jump on YouTube real quick with a quick distraction from a video, a song, or something like that.
Yeah, so we have to. That's one of the keys to growth in holiness and prayer, is resistance, and resisting the temptations that come our way, and the, I guess, inclinations that we might have. And also, like in the moral life, this is applicable. I've preached about this before. Like, something triggers you that you want to get angry about, or impatient. You're in traffic and you want to scream or flick off the person driving next to you. Your brain is wired to do that. That's how you release. And so growth in holiness means resisting in many ways those things that you're triggered or inclined or defaulted to do. And so we have to just be on alert and asking God for his grace to come in and help us to stay focused and do all those holy, healthy things I think will make us better Christians.
Amen.
Thank you, Declan, for the science fair. Thank you, all 7th graders. Good job. And maybe next year we'll talk about those other science fair projects.
That'd be awesome.
God bless.
Peace.